What's going on, my beautiful people? It's February 3rd, 2025. It's the end of Monday. We got 4 days to the weekend. Let's get this party started. Welcome in, welcome in. It's the Fan from the Stands podcast. The rundown for today: Lufkin girls took on Mount Pleasant on Friday night. The girls results from the weekend in soccer, and Lufkin boys basketball took on Mount Pleasant in the top 25 showdown Friday night. Huge district implications, the championship on the line. And tonight's guest, the myth, the man, the legend. You know him, we love him, Luke Morrell, the manager of the boys basketball team. Lufkin girls soccer took on Hallsville on Friday night. Fortunately, fall 5-0. JV fell as well, 3-0. But listen to this. Thought this was pretty interesting. The JV played with only 7 initially. Uh, got it down to 6, I assume, because either of an injury or a red card of sorts. But they played against 10 of Hallsville's and only lost 3-0. Pretty impressive. Lufkin girls in basketball action took on Mount Pleasant. We needed that all elusive win on Friday to have a chance to make the playoffs, but unfortunately, we fall 53-31. What can you say about this senior class? Been a really great group to watch. We've had a lot of injuries this year. Never make the excuses. Nobody pointed. We got better. I'm really looking forward to next season. A lot of talent coming back. Like I said, the JV with a lot of talent. Everybody's got a huge. We have a lot of success. Is what I'm trying to say. Next year, it's going to be a special year. I feel, and just proud of the seniors how they carried themselves and this group. What can you say about them? Coach Lamb, Coach Jones just really did the best they could with all the injuries we've had this year. I just thought it was just a special group of ladies. Proud of them and looking forward to next year as well. And if you didn't know, in a couple of weeks, we'll have Coach Lamb on for a breakdown of the season, complete overview. Really excited about that. Lufkin boys basketball took on Mount Pleasant for the district title, a top 25 showdown. Lufkin a winner, 47-41. Just a great game, battle back and forth, huge atmosphere, total team effort. I thought the defense was phenomenal. We got an early lead, up by 21, and the refs kept Mount Pleasant in the game. But overall, a team effort. BJ Thomas had 9 points, Austin Brown with 18, Kevo Moore with 5, Dalen Newman with 1, Bryson Skinner with 2, Javorius White with 3, and Jacavian Sanders would poured in 2 points, Marcellus with 6 points, Tripp with 3 points. Overall, just a great game. A lot of fun. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Our guest tonight in the interview, Luke Morrell.
All right, I'm here with Luke, my guest on tonight. He is one of the managers for the Lufkin Panthers basketball squad. Appreciate you coming on, Luke.
Yes, sir, Chris. Thank you.
Well, if you didn't know, me and Luke have known each other for a while. He's a good guy through church and just a real good guy. So, Luke, I got some questions for you. Just want to kind of talk about, from a perspective a little bit differently than most people know. What is it like being a manager for this squad, specifically the last couple of years? Previously, you used to be part of a lot of these players you played before. Tell us what it's like to be a manager for Lufkin Panthers.
Yes, sir. Being a manager is, from my perspective, it's one of my favorite things that I get to do. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I have from a technical standpoint, I guess you could say. I see it as kind of being a player and a coach at the same time. From the coaching perspective, I'm able to watch the game from a coach's perspective. I'm able to see the floor, see what the coaches are thinking, um, see the players' tendencies, and be able to help them and tell them stuff that they're doing right, stuff that they're doing wrong. And as far as practice goes, I run the clock for our practices. I make sure that all our guys have everything that we need. And it really gives me an opportunity to grow closer to a lot of the players who have just become like brothers to me. And then the coaches have really been just a very special part of my life. And so I'm very grateful for being able to kind of have that coaching aspect and player aspect as well.
Gotcha. When you talk about doing the minutes and stuff, does it change week to week, or what does that look like?
And the teams that we're going against, depending on the week, as far as like our bye weeks go, we kind of have shorter practice, but a lot more shooting and a lot more personal drill stuff. And during the week versus teams, we'll go over our plays, depending on the scout that we have, whether that certain team runs a certain defense or certain offense or press. We're able to practice according to that. But I would say versus during the week, and especially as we get up towards playoff time, it's going to be a lot of making sure everybody's on the same page plays wise, and then just getting better from that perspective.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's another thing I was going to ask. Do you get a lot of input with the coaching because of that, or do they just kind of tell you, "Hey, this is what we're going to do this week"? Is that what?
Yeah, it's kind of them just telling me what we're getting to do, and I, for the most part, like I mean, I agree with how we run it, and I'm able to, like I said, I'm able to kind of have an input as far as telling the players, what to get ready for, and uh, I'm ready for anything during the week, and I know we're going to get better either way.
Awesome. Well, that makes sense. Well, when you got a guy like you invested in these guys and real attention to detail, I'm sure that makes a huge difference and probably takes a lot of stress off of JT and Coach Bays being the kind of guy you are. Luke, talk a little bit about this season. We've had a lot of big moments, a lot of big moments. The Lake Travis game, the Hoop Fest. We've had some big moments in the some of the uh, tournament play. What would you say? I guess from a manager's perspective, and maybe personally, what to you has been the biggest moments of this season so far?
When we played in that Dallas tournament, the Plano East game, and the way that we played against Keller were some of the biggest moments for me because it really gave me like an opportunity to see that this team is legit. Like this team has a chance to, we have a chance to make it pretty far. And I would say the Lake Travis game, the whole Hoop Fest tournament as well. The expectation of, I mean, we know how good of a team they are and how well coached they are, and to see how well our players and how we responded, I would say was another big moment. And then obviously more recently, Kivo's game-winning shot, just the way that the entire team reacted. It's just a big brotherhood. There's no selfishness. Every player is happy for one of another, and that shot to me was, I mean, I was going crazy. So
Right.
I mean, there's been so many moments, but I think a lot of the teams that are pretty good. We've faced a lot of good teams this season,
For sure.
and it's gotten us better. I think. So I think it's hard to say. There's been so many, but those moments for sure.
For sure. Well, I did some math earlier this week. I think there's a between 12 to 14 teams out of our 33 teams we play so far that are going to the playoffs. So a lot of expectation. You talked a little bit about the tournament play earlier in the Dallas. We played out of the 5 teams we played. All five of them were, at one point were ranked in the top 25, whether in 5A or 6A. So, a lot of good competition so far. Like you said, been some great moments. Fortunately, I've been able to be a part of that, and it's been pretty impressive. I'm sure you're excited as well. Like you said, the expectation is high. Before we go into the next part, summer league. you told me a little bit about before the season, the summer league. So for me, from a fan's perspective, the expectations were already high because of the summer league results. We knew we had a lot of coming back from last year's. I believe we only graduated two seniors from a 12, 10-man roster.
Yes, sir.
Really, and the two guys, no offense to those guys, they were just more contributors. Cody was kind of a starter, and sometimes Dallas was, but really had everything coming back. Talk a little bit about, like, again, the summer league and the expectations going into the fall.
I gotta give a lot of credit here to Coach McManus. He is one of the hardest working people that I've seen. His love for the game is, I mean, you can see it from the way that our team plays. From the moment that we lost that playoff game versus Crandall, he was getting ready for this next season. I mean, he's just been working towards it, and because he knew the guys that we had and the opportunity that we were going to get this year. In the summer, I was fortunate enough to be able to be a part of and go to some of these games in the summer and talk about the Gasso tournament in Duncanville. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough to kind of be the main coach there,
Gotcha.
and what a lot of people don't know is everybody that we have now
Right.
in that tournament. And you look at the game versus Amarillo and DeSoto. I mean, those are if you know a lot about high school Texas basketball, you know that those two teams. I mean, those are some
Well,
big schools.
for sure, Amarillo in the last 5 years is one of the best 5A premier programs. They've been to the state tournament a couple of times. They're a tough team. They move the ball well. And DeSoto right now, and even in the beginning of the season, is ranked in the top 25 in 6A. For sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just those games, and then obviously we had another Gasso tournament, and just summer is a very important part, especially from a coach's perspective, seeing how your players can respond, who's going to be your main people, and I thought that we, without having much, wasn't very much practice or anything, just responding to that, and it really opened my eyes to, again, before the season even started, just the potential that this team had, and so it was a great opportunity and a great just weekend to be able to really see what the future was going to look like.
For sure, and I think that's the thing from a fan's perspective. What excited me is a lot of competition in terms of the people that we played over the summer leagues and doing so well. We didn't just play them; we beat them, most of the
Mm-hmm.
teams, and played really well. In fact, I think you said at one point that we beat DeSoto by like 21 and
Cool, man.
made them like it. And so it's really impressive. They played really well, like you said, and that is exciting. You know, I know I had a lot of excitement going into this season, so the expectations couldn't be any higher, for sure. Well, Luke, another thing I was going to ask, so far this year, do you have anything interesting stories that maybe some of the guys don't know? Some of the people that listening in, what interesting story, either on or off the court?
Every trip that we take is always just a fun experience. And when we had the multi-day, like the 3-day tournaments and staying in a hotel, there's always interesting stories and just kind of fun being able to get away from the distractions at school and just grow closer to each other and as a brotherhood and even with the coaches. I think off the court, uh, really focusing in on my future as far as being involved in like my church and stuff like that has been a big big part, while also having opportunity to be a manager and just be able to be involved in basketball still.
Sure, for sure. Well, and I think that's the thing is when they're lucky to have you, Luke. I've said this before. Your character is awesome, and you being able to talk to them about not only the big things in life, that basketball is just something we do, but you plugging in and really just being a leader on and off the court speaks volumes about your character, man. But last question I had is, in terms of this team, this is, I keep telling people this is a different year. I've seen a lot of basketball, especially under Coach McManus. We've had a lot of talent over the years. I think all the way back to J. Boy Bennett, Keenan Jackson, some of these guys. We've had some real good talent, Cordell Rogers. But what makes this team, even a couple of years ago with Brandon Walker, what makes this team just so different? What is it that makes them tick and everything? So
I think what makes this team different is one, just I guess I can't speak for those teams, but I think the brotherhood that we have is something that's so special. And I think that when you have an opportunity to sub five in and sub five out, like, and not miss a beat,
for sure,
and you have players that can do a little bit of everything for you, and when we've needed sparks, when we've been kind of stagnant in the games, we're able to sub in guys like Tripp and Kivo that can just bring in this energy and bring the team back. And then obviously, I have guys like Austin and BJ who can be dynamic players on offense. And then Dalo leading the team, Sanders holding it down low. Javaris has played at an exceptional level this season.
for sure.
And
I was
then
just bragging
Bryson,
about it.
who I think is really the X factor. He's brought in immediately as he steps on the court, his presence is on there. It's
For
just
sure.
defensively moving the ball, getting us into stuff. So I think all of that, one team, play how we're coached to play, and we can play defense how Coach McManus is known for playing defense. And if we know our stuff, know our plays, there's not many teams that are going to be able to stop us.
For sure, for sure. Well, I can't lie to you. A lot of guys have stepped up this season, like you talked about, and it's very impressive. Everybody has done their job and really played well. And so, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Appreciate all you do, Luke, and I look forward to the rest of the season, especially playoffs. Hope we make a long run, buddy. So I appreciate it,
Yes,
and
sir.
thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.